One of the more iconic symbols of New York City is the Empire State Building. And of course, millions of people come to this building every year to take part of its observation decks, to go and look around the city and get a view like no other in the city. As we zoom down here on the 86th floor, one of the eerie signs of how empty our city has become is that observation deck has nobody on it. And for all the years I've been flying around the city, I can't remember a time where we've seen the observation deck empty. Even in bad weather, you see people come out here in their rain gear or bundled up just to get some views around the city. And of course, right now, there is nobody on the 86th floor of the Empire State Building. And you're looking down at the crossroads of the world, Times Square, 7th Avenue and Broadway, where they meet. Normally on New Year's Eve, you'd see this area just jam-packed with thousands and thousands of people. And even on a normal weekday, you would see nothing but buses and cabs and cars and people trying to fight for space to get through this area. And of course now you can see only a few cars going through the area, only a few people walking through Times Square. We'll take you for a little ride down Broadway. And you can see as you come down Broadway towards Herald Square, again, much of the same down there, just a couple of cars coming down here where they meet 6th Avenue, a few people sitting out there on the plaza, but for the most part, it's just an empty scene as you look at the city streets through Manhattan. Normally we see taxi cabs, the yellow cabs in particular, just flooding the 5 boroughs of New York City. Over 13,000 medallion cabs travel these streets, and of course with very little demand for those taxi cabs, they all have to park somewhere. And you're looking at an area in Sunnyside, Queens. You saw 3 different areas that these cabs are all stored here, and you can see as you go into one parking lot, you just have them parked bumper to bumper next to each other. We go down a few city blocks, you'll see another parking lot that has more taxi cabs, not only in the lot, but you can see on the street as well. So again, trying to find a place for all these cabs to park. They are scattered throughout the city, but you see these big yellow clusters in this video of where all those taxi cabs ended up. One place people like to gather out here in Brooklyn is on Coney Island's famous boardwalk. And you can see people practicing social distancing, not as many people on the boardwalk as there normally would be, but if you bring the camera out here, what you're also going to notice is how quiet Luna Park is and all the rides around the boardwalk. The beach also, not a lot going on there. Another familiar sight for people is Nathan's Original Hot Dog Stand. You can see, even though they are open, you do have the doors shut tight there, keeping people from coming inside. We bring the camera out, you're going to see much the scene around Luna Park and the rest of Coney Island. Not a lot of people, most of the rides, actually all the rides, all shut down here. And of course the world famous boardwalk, that also very vacant right now, just a few people walking as they practice social distancing, the scene we may see throughout the summer. One of the hardest hit parts of our area are the major airports, and here is LaGuardia Airport. Now we're doing something we don't normally get to do, and we're going to actually go along runway 31 as if we're landing at the airport. As we do this, you're going to see just what kind of impact we've had here at the airports, where most of these gates, they are empty. Just a few jets that are sitting down there at the gates as we come across the runway here at runway 31 at LaGuardia, and you're going to see just how empty this airport looks right now. And we'll bring the camera back around, and we'll show you what it looks like as we would take off if we were using runway 31 here at LaGuardia, heading back towards the city. Of course, New York is home to many professional sports teams. You have 2 baseball teams, 2 basketball teams, 3 hockey teams, of course 2 football teams. And this time of year, usually all the stadiums are busy with fans, and Citi Field would be no exception. If you zoom in with the camera, you can see the grass is green, but the boys of summer nowhere to be found. The empty parking lots that surround the stadium, and of course down here on the field, the pitcher's mound is covered up, the home plate covered up, and no fans, no players out there on the field. Another place where we can see a drop in people is going to be at the major transportation hubs. This one is Jamaica Station, of course the LIRR, the subway system, many buses all converge on this one location in Queens. And you can see during this particular rush hour, very few trains going in and out of Jamaica Station. We go down to the street here in front of the station itself, and again, very little traffic. A couple of city buses sitting there on the street, but as we come around the building there, what you're going to see are just a few people in that crosswalk. Normally we would see just people flooding this area as they were heading home from a day's worth of work.